And we are back here for our PvP semifinals, best of 3. Hope we were able to make the use of that break. Hope you were able to get some frozen liquid in a tube. Enjoy that as we approach the summer months, or winter months in the south, summer months in the rest of the world. Not the equator, as we don't have months here. But that's a good time to have those frozen tube waters, regardless. Anyway, we are going to be kicking things off for our PvP semifinals now on Alpione. Now we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, running all the way in. The top right, we have our blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He is going to be, of course, representing Twisted Minds. No fairy, as that mine. It's an enigma. We have the Chin Toss himself, Classic.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series, one Protoss or the other. It is up to you to decide with your predictions with your Gamba.
Get your Gamba going. It's insane to me how I keep constantly forgetting that Genji is not only Trap's team, but also a thing. Which is weird because they're actually a very highly prolific esports org
apparently
in Korea, but I just keep forgetting it.
Yeah,
like they just had no. I mean, they weren't around at the start of esports.
True.
So I just don't keep forgetting that they exist.
They
had MMA as their coach for a while. But that was for Overwatch. So I just forget.
For me, it's hard to remember that it's not Genesis Gaming. Like when I say Gen G, I think Genesis Gaming. That's just where my brain goes, and I have to stop myself every
Genesis Gaming Gen G, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean there's
until we were served a cease and desist.
True. That's why we got Neo. So it's really cool to see that Trap is, of course, getting support in his on-set team. And now we're entering our openers. It's going to be a double-gate opener here out of Trap. Likewise, two-gate opener out of Classic as well. Trap is the first to expand. And we do see, actually, Trap going for a bit of a greedier opener here. He's moving out with the Adepts, and we'll see if we can slip past these Stalkers.
Yeah, and it's hard to really make predictions here because, Trap is the first player to expand. Which usually the first player to expand in PvP is the player that loses.
True.
But he's also the first player to get sentries. And sentries are pretty good, so... Yeah. We can't quite follow the rules at this point.
The math is now different.
But we don't really have the formula,
Yeah. This is like advanced math now. Before it used to be expand into lose, but now expand into lose, but that's countered by the sentry, and now it's complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah. It's hard to really tell. I mean, Classic there to get some decent damage here, taking out the shield battery.
Yeah, shield battery goes down.
Wasted,
solid force fields, so we lock down the Stalkers. We do pick off one of them. Alas, going to be trading out. The Adepts do come back home. We can try to get a surround. And with this pseudo surround, it looks like we should be able to barely clean this up.
Yeah, we're going to get 2 Stalkers, but we do end up trading a Sentry, a Stalker, a bunch of probes as well. And there is still this one Stalker of Classic remaining in the mineral line, so even more probe damage being dealt. All in all, it looks like Classic did end up with the better trade.
Yeah, and he had to. Again, Classic had a much later expansion. He instead prioritized Stalker production, and with that, Classic had to get some economic damage done. That is why the economy is actually neck and neck here, because of the faster expansion that Trap had gone for. So we do even things up in the end, and now we're going to be settling into the mid game.
Here we go, obviously. Ooh! Trap trying to dip in and reciprocate that probe damage, but only is able to get 1 probe of Classic. And we are seeing now that Trap, with his earlier expansion, with his head start when it comes to his economy, was the player to get his Twilight Council a little bit earlier, so he is getting Blink much quicker. Robe of Facility, on the other hand, still a ways off. compared to Classic, who is going to get it at around the same time. Around the same time as his Twilight Council, I should say.
Yeah, the Robo's already done for Classic. Traps is still on the way. The armies are moving out. Now, Trap will have Blink earlier, that is true, but it is not done yet. Shield Battery not done either. Classic, he's going to try and slice up this army. Force Fields are so crucial, so impactful this early on because of the lack of Blink.
Yeah, and so Classic, he knows that he doesn't really want to tangle with that without Blink, so he's going to back away for now. He's content with the amount of pressure he's been able to deal, and how he's been able to kind of contain Trap on these two bases, while he works on a third expansion of his own, third nexus of his own.
Yeah, as Classic was posturing, he expanded. He just took his third base while he had map control, and that means that Trap's third is that much later. Hallucination will confirm the timing of the third, so Trap is fully aware of the greed of Classic, and we'll see if we can try to punish that greed as Trap is setting up with Adepts towards the left-hand side, likewise the main army towards the right. Ideally, Trap wants to distract Classic, and while he does, he slips in with the Adepts.
Yeah, that's going to be the ideal here for Trap. I mean, he can't quite catch back up, but when it comes to the macro and when it comes to the economy, so ideally he's going to be looking to punish Classic.
And we'll see if he can. For now, has yet to pull the trigger, has his units in position, but still just lying in wait and just going for a Hallucination Scout. With this scout going to confirm the lower gateway counts, the Forge +1 on the way, just making sure that Classic is indeed macroing up.
Yeah, both players keeping each other honest with their scouting, and this is a deviation I was not quite expecting. Classic opting for Glaives instead of Charge.
This has been very trendy as of late in PvP. We've seen a lot of Immortal Adept all-ins. We've seen a lot of this on 2 bases, but this is going to be on 3 bases instead. Here comes the Gateway Explosion, and Glaive Adepts, they don't scale amazingly into a longer game, but they do a great job at buffering for the initial Immortals, just being kind of a buffer zone or just being there to protect them, and likewise it can even help outmaneuver the defending player by shading into a mineral line and shading past an army.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential to be a little trickier with this style. Eventually, you do end up teching towards Charge and towards Archons anyway, but yeah, like you said, there's this little window here where both players are going to be pretty passive. Both players are going to be working towards building up their tech, that you can just slip in these Adepts and get a whole lot of economic damage.
And we'll see how hard Classic does hit. Looking at the army sizes, Classic does have the Immortal advantage. He has 3 Immortals compared to the 2, or soon to be 2, of Trap. Likewise, Gateways are finishing up and Adepts are warping in. Hallucination gets eyes on the natural. I don't think we've seen the third base yet, as that's a lot of Adepts.
Quite a lot of Adepts, yeah. Trap doesn't really have eyes on the army, nor the gold base. And Classic's gonna look to keep it that way. He is moving forward with his Stalkers, kind of keeping his Adepts in the back line. He does not want Trap to know just what exactly he has in store.
Exactly, Trap is still a little bit in the dark. Trap has not seen the Adepts, has not seen the gold base. And here we go, the army is moving out. Classic does have the supply lead, and we dive on top of the Archons.
Yeah, none of them gonna go down. Very quick pullback there from Trap.
Does pull away, but the Force Fields, they catch an Immortal. 1 Immortal goes down. Massive pickoff already. And Classic, he rotates over towards the 4th base. Massive warping and Stalkers as well. At this base, we force a cancel.
Just like so. Classic, he's already got the upper hand here, but we'll see if he's... Okay, he is pretty content with that for the time being. Adept's going to threaten the shade, just to keep this army back and kind of make Trap think twice about going for a counterattack.
Yeah, and he does.
Classic, he's just running away with this army.
Yeah, Classic, he's rotating around. He's got the gold base. He can hit towards the 4th once again. Adepts, they do not commit to shade. Likewise, they don't commit yet. Zealots do get across the map, though.
And we don't really have any reinforcements back home. So Classic's just going for it.
Yeah, he does commit. The first Archon does fall. Trap down to 2 Archons. The concave in favor of Classic. He pulls away. He's laying siege upon that natural base. Classic is just going to be looking to overwhelm this.
Yeah, not overextending. I can definitely appreciate this from Classic. Almost losing the Warp Prism. He has to be so careful with it. That's where all of his sustain power is going to be.
The Stalker's coming in from behind as well. That Prism is so vulnerable, is so low. Alas, it does siege up. The Warping is on the way, and Trap unable to close the distance, unable to get on top of it. Up!
Yeah, the supply don't lie. Oh, the Warp Prism does go down, but again, we just have so much more army here for Classic than Trap. Better upgraded army as well. GG is called. Classic gonna be taking a pretty decisive game number 1.
GG, well played. Cheeky moves there out of Classic, rushing into Glaive Adepts, rushing into the goal base, getting a faster third as well, and with the superior army that led into the with the superior economy that led into the larger army for Classic. Unfortunately, Trap was a little bit in the dark as to what was going on, and he wasn't really able to stifle Classic. Was trying to be active, but yeah, didn't really get much damage done across the map, and was denied a lot of vision as well.
That he was. Yeah, glad to see that even though we are having two players who are kind of known for having, shall we say, honorable reputations, players who are known for more of their macro play, we can still see a couple of tricks get thrown in every now and then.
Yeah, exactly, as Classic was able to be so fast and so decisive with his moves as well, and we'll see if Trap can bounce back. I'm hoping for an ace match, I'm hoping for a back and forth series here, but we'll see how we do embrace this as we're getting ready for game number 2.
Indeed, we are. I mean, ordinarily, I would say that I would expect a full series coming out here, but after game number 1, I do feel like Trap has to really switch things up here. Which I'm sure he can. He has the capability of. He's proven that in the past, but we'll see if tonight specifically Trap is able to bring out that that variety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see if he can mix it up here, if he can fight back. I mean, again, I'm hoping for an ace match, but the pressure is now on, and we're going to be loading into a very interesting map, especially for a PvP. We are going to be loading into Amphion.
Yeah, I almost said Amphione, but I'm seeing Phantom E's at the end of words now. I blame France and the Olympics.
I see. Have you been keeping up with your Duolingo?
I have. I haven't been doing French though, so I feel like that's subconsciously like guilting me. You're like, hey, do French.
No, not at all. you don't need to learn it. It's fine.
But speaking of fine, we are now on Amphion, no E, but we do have an LE. LE, of course, standing for ladder envelope. No, I'm not going to elaborate on that. We have here in the bottom left corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left, we have our blue Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He's, of course, going to be representing Twisted Minds, no fairy. We have Classic.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. And as we're loading into Amphion, what does that mean? That means a gate expands. We have a ramp leading into the natural, so just like Site Delta, it leads into more economic openers. It's a little bit earlier to call, but this could be the beginnings of Phoenix Wars. More often than not, a lot of the Korean players do try to pull away from Phoenix Wars, and they try to deviate and head into Blink Stalkers. So I'm curious if either Trap or Classic try to do that and get away from the Phoenix production.
I'm curious as well if we're going to be seeing a deviation from that, but I am definitely hoping that we see it regardless.
You're hoping to see deviation or Phoenix Wars? What are you hoping for?
Phoenix Wars, yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious if we'll see a deviation.
Okay.
I want to see Phoenix Wars.
You're an animal.
As I think we all do.
Well, it's double gas here from Classic, single gas from Trap. What does that mean? That means Trap is trying to go for a faster expansion. There we go. The Nexus has been thrown down with the double gas. Classic should be going for a faster tech structure in that Stargate. But Trap is a little bit greedier here. There's the Stargate opener from Classic. Trap going for the faster Nexus.
Indeed. It's one Zealot from Trap gonna make its way across the map to try to get something done.
Zeld is waddling across the map. Meanwhile, we do see shield batteries on the way. Classic, the pylon did finish, and we're looking to try to lay siege upon the natural.
All right, let's see if it works. I mean, a Zealot versus a Stalker should go in favor of the Zealot, but we got a couple of probes to support to buffer as well. Shield battery's not done just yet. Can it survive long enough to make use of the shield battery? Adept shows up, is able to take out a couple of probes, but can it actually fight toe-to-toe with the Stalkers?
I mean, that's 2 probes going down. That's 2 more probes out on the map as well, not mining, so that's pretty good economic damage. Meanwhile, the backup shield battery has completed. Trap, he can maintain himself, he can hold his own. He is down a shield battery, but we're running out of energy here for Classic, and he will actually shade into the main.
Yeah, well, he'll get even more probe damage. We don't have Game Heart, unfortunately, but looking at Union's last tab, you have 4 probes go down. And like you said, we also have those 2 other probes in the middle of the map not doing anything. And we still have this Adept alive to threaten the mineral line. This is a fantastic start here from Classic. I mean, it's an expensive start, don't get us wrong. Getting this pylon and these 2 shield batteries and all that, but he's getting his money's worth.
Yeah, and here we go, 2 Adepts into the main. Oracle's on the way. It was an Oracle opener, not a Phoenix. Again, because of the lack of Phoenix Wars, Oracles are on the way to harass to get economic damage done, and they have arrived. More probes are going down.
Yeah, shield battery here should be able to just barely keep one of those probes alive, but yeah, this is starting to get out of hand. 10 probes go down. Trap, thankfully, with the much quicker second Nexus, is able to rebuild, so we can actually see that the worker counts are somewhat even, but Classic behind all of this is getting a third, and he's gonna explode economically.
Yeah, well, that's his natural. He was forced to take the...
my mistake, never mind,
Yeah, he was forced to take the unnatural. Natural, Classic does have a worker lead and has 2 Oracles. That's 2 Oracles here outside of the main base. Meanwhile, Classic even investing into a Void Ray.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to keep him alive. It's going to allow him to maintain this third, ideally. Which, honestly, right now, that's what the Oracles are doing. They are still getting a lot of probe damage. That's 17 probes going down. That's more than a mineral line.
That is over
taken out in this game.
That is over a mineral line with the workers. That's an insane amount of damage. 17 probe kills, and Classic, he's even going further from here. We have Twilight Council on the way for Blink, similarly timed here to Trap. So Trap does not have a tech advantage. Trap, he's in a really rough place here, and we're not done. Here comes the Void Ray.
Yeah, that can definitely buffer a lot of hits. That can definitely help against the Stalkers as well. Good lord. Yeah, we activate Stalkers also broken up.
Yeah, we activate the Prismatic Alignment. First Stalker goes down. We do trade with the Oracle, though. We're going to barely get the second. No, the second Stalker does go down.
And so does the Void Ray. So with that, Trap is feeling unhindered. He's feeling very safe. He's not going to go for a full-on counterattack, but he is fanning out these handful of Stalkers to try to catch this. Yep, try to catch this Oracle.
Oh my god. Yeah, very nice positioning here. Meanwhile, we're behind. So what do we do when behind a Dark Shrine? The Dark Shrine is on the way for Trap. Bold move here by the Red Brodals player. And back at home, Classic, I believe, has no robot. There is a way to get detection with Oracles. That is true. We will have access to Revelations, but that is not the most consistent form of detection.
That it is not. That is not. We do still have that one Oracle from earlier on, so hopefully Classic can keep it alive to deal with the DTs, but we shall see.
Yeah, alright, so definitely on the Oracle stasis traps on the way. That means how much less energy to work with. Bear that in mind. Likewise, Classic setting up a proxy across the map. Blink is about to finish. Classic will have a Blink timing. Now, if Classic is aggressive, if he is assertive, then he might be able to get an eye on the DTs ahead of time. That is possible, but Trap is setting up for a proxy.
Proxy v proxy. Proxy wars coming up here. Probe. I was worried the probe was going to reveal itself.
We do actually.
Oh no.
Yeah, we check the third base. We get eyes on the saturation. That's what we were looking for. And we didn't throw down a pylon, so there is no way to reinforce across the map. And Classic, he's looking, just in case, as he saw the probe.
Yeah, skirting around with this Oracle. Yeah, ideally keeps the Oracle busy, out of base, to allow for these DTs to really hit. Classic going full forward with his entire army. it's possible that we'll see a base trade.
We could see one if we had any DTs. The Dark Shrine is done, but no Dark Templar warped in. And here we go. We are pushing out. Okay, we have one DT at home to defend. The Oracle is under fire. We have to be very careful with it, as the armies do pass by each other.
Once again, Stasis Sword being thrown down because Classic just doesn't suspect the thing. Now
Yeah.
the DT kind of reveals its hand, but there's no detection here, no energy.
Yeah, but only one Dark Templar. Gateways are being depowered. We dive on the army. Massive stasis here on the army of Trap. Trap, he barely has anything to work with. He has the one DT, but how much damage can we get done before the DT cleans up these Stalkers?
A whole freaking lot is what I'm going to say, especially with this Oracle surviving and regaining its energy. We have a revelation, and DT across the map is going to be completely clearing out Classic's mineral lines.
Yeah, probes are going down. We get the revelation, but we missed. We didn't get the... Oh, there we go. Second revelation gets one of the DTs, but not the other. Only one Dark Templar going to be going down. We do get a lot of damage done with depowering everything in the main.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate how well Trap's really been able to split up his DTs right now. Make sure that none of them get caught in a single revelation.
Yeah, and everything gets sent across the map. We're going for the Immortal. The Immortal is focused down. 2 volleys is all it takes, and a Classic will clean this up. Meanwhile, we are banking up energy here for another revelation. But alas, it's still only the one Oracle for Classic.
Yeah, I believe the Stargates across the map did get depowered, and anyway, we don't have enough gas to get a second Oracle.
Yeah,
We do throw down a revelation, but once again, it misses the DTs.
Yeah, we were a little bit too cavalier, a little bit too antsy with that revelation. DTs are welling forward. At the same time, we ignore the DTs. We go straight for the middle line. Probes are still going down.
How much damage can be dealt here as, yeah, these Stalkers are starting to get lower and lower in health, but here we go, another revelation. One more DT goes down. Another DT managed to survive, however. We have 3 DTs out in the map, and they are very, very well split up.
Exactly. Trap just ensuring that the DTs, they stay spread out as long as they can. The Robo's going to fall. Again, there's no economy left here for Trap. Trap going for the Ninja base, going for the hybrid.
Yeah, definitely a good call here for Trap. Can these DTs win him the game? I want to believe.
It's close. We get 1.
And now there are 2. And then there were 2.
Yeah, and then there were 2. We have 1 DT here in the main base. We have 1 DT across the map, sniping buildings. Bearing in mind the Classic did have a proxy set up as well, so we're going for the full-on elimination here. DTs are getting a lot done, but at the same time, we will eventually kill them. Like, we're going to have another revelation soon.
Yeah, no anti-air, so this Oracle is pretty much completely unhindered.
Yeah. Classic, he's on the hunt. He's chasing down the Dark Templar. We get the revelation, and now we're down to 1 singular DT. And this DT, it's got a lot of work to do. The probes, they scout.
Base is under attack.
They know, they're aware. They were planning to get that base, actually. Classic was planning to actually throw down a Nexus over there. But, yeah, once he got there, he kind of had to do the Spider-Man meme and say, wait a minute. You're taking this base?
Yeah, and here we go. The army does rotate over. Meanwhile, when it comes to the units that we are working with, we have the 1 Prism. So I guess we can juggle, but there it is. GG gets called. We find the base, and a Trap will tap out. Classic takes the series.
GG, nicely done here from both of our players. Trap with those instincts once he realized how far behind he was, what his win condition was with those DTs. Unfortunately, not quite able to pull it off in the end there, but yeah, still a nice little reaction. Classic, on the other hand, very decisive play, very decisive and very, I don't want to say cavalier, but very brazen play. In fact, here's the question I have, Light. With that double battery opening, is it fair to say that Classic is now embraced full hero?
At least in PvP, right? Like at least in PvP, because we saw a very different Classic in the against Rogue, right? In the PvZs, but yeah, the PvPs were very chaotic, right? With the gold bases, with the Glaive Adepts, with the initial shield battery aggression as well. Like, it was a wild series from Classic, and yeah, he does take it. He does assert his dominance.
Indeed, he does. You know, Trap, he has come back. He is improving rapidly throughout these past couple of months, but Classic, that chin still stands strong. Still a pretty tough mountain to climb.
Oh yeah, it is still a tough mountain to climb. I mean, the Protoss players in Korea are quite terrifying in their own ways, so it's not easy to really fight back against them. But again, Trap to bring down Nightmare is already a big win for him, and I look forward to seeing more of Trap in the coming weeks. He has been improving week after week, time and time again, so I don't expect that rate of improvement to really slow down anytime soon. Meanwhile, we have some updates. Oh my god!
We do have some updates here. We have a confirmed PvP finals as Lancer has taken out Gumiho 2-0, is now facing Creator in the bottom semifinals.
2-0?
2-0. Not even Showtime could do that.
Oh my god. Not even Showtime, Papi. Lancer. That is crazy. 2-0 over Gumiho. With that, we were joking earlier, but welcome, everyone. Welcome to ESL Open Cup Protoss Edition, as we have purely Protoss left in the tournament. Gumiho was the non-Protoss hope, but there's only so much he could do against the sea of Protoss ahead of him. That's a big win for Lancer.